seems so overwhelming. What can be done? Well, let me give you 4 pieces of advice. First, have gratitude. Be grateful. Brene Brown, if you don't know who Brene Brown is, you should. Brene Brown says we are a nation hungry for more joy because we're starving from a lack of gratitude. Recognize what you have and recognize the progress that we humans have made. So yes, the world is a bit of a mess. We've got tons of problems as I listed above. So it's a fair question to ask, what is there to be grateful for? Well, those of you who took my global development course will know that in fact there's a lot to be grateful for. We humans have come a long way. For example, the year I was born, 1972, nearly half of humanity lived in extreme poverty, on less than $2 per day. Today, even in a COVID-ravaged world, that number is just 10%. In 1990, 12 million children under the age of 5 died worldwide, almost all of them from preventable causes such as influenza and malaria. Yet last year, the number was less than half of that, 5 million. That's 5 million too many to be sure, but think about it. Millions of children are alive today simply because they were born in the last 5 years instead of 1990. That's progress. Graduates, when many of you were being born around the year 2000, 120 million children worldwide were not in primary school. Most of them girls. Yet today, again, the number of kiddos not in school is less than half that figure, a trend that can only be described as a revolution in girls' education. There's even happy statistics to cite from the U.S. here at home. For instance, U.S. carbon emissions are down by more than 20% from their peak in 2006, and the homicide rate is down by nearly 50% from its 1990 peak. So have gratitude for how far we've come and try to apply this in your personal lives and experiences as well. Recognize what you have, the roof over your head, your loved ones and personal connections, your health, and of course, those mountains and that Colorado sunshine. Remember this saying, it is not happiness that brings gratitude, it is gratitude that brings us happiness. Second, and along similar lines, take care of yourselves. Don't neglect your self-care, especially amidst our national mental health crisis. Too many of us work too hard to get the perfect grade, to earn that extra income, or to please someone else. We end up denying ourselves and our own needs. Now, to be clear, don't get me wrong, a strong work ethic is admirable and can pay off in a lot of ways. Your presence today attests to that. But don't take work too far, so far that you deny yourself. Sometimes the right thing to do is the fun thing to do. Take hikes, play an instrument, binge watch a new show, bake some cookies, do whatever else your hobby may be. If at all possible, travel to other countries. Find a healthy balance between work and play. Be present, be there for yourself. Don't forget your own needs. Now, I should probably give some advice about politics. You are, after all, certified experts on the topic, now with degrees in political science. And I'm the chair of political science. I should at least feign some expertise on the matter, especially since your parents are watching. Furthermore, our political system is a bit of a mess these days, messier than it's ever been in my lifetime. So let me take a crack at this. It hasn't always been like this in America. It hasn't always been so polarized, with everyone sorted into one political tribe or another, with one side hearing one set of political information and the other side getting a completely different set of political information. It hasn't always been the case with both sides steeped in confirmation bias, accepting only those facts that fit their political beliefs and rejecting facts that contradict those beliefs. So what can you all do about this? Third bit of advice. Graduates, we need to find ways to reach across the aisle, reach across the political aisle in our everyday lives. Research on political disagreement by political scientists suggests that fewer than 1 in 4 Americans has a close contact who supports the opposite party. And this number is only declining as Americans continue to sort themselves into blue urban areas, blue states, and red rural areas and red states. Let me say, in no uncertain terms, to the Democrats in the room, you need to have Republican friends. And to the Republicans in the room, you need to have Democratic friends. And you need to talk to each other about politics. Talk to each other from a place of mutual respect. Extend dignity, the inherent dignity of all humans. Extend that dignity to those on the other side from you. Recognize all that you share in common. Try to approach problems and issues by starting from points of agreement. Avoid boiling issues and problems down into simple binary us versus them terms. If you think that Democrats or the liberal position is always right on every issue, then you weren't listening the last 4 years in your classes. If you think that Republicans or the conservative position is always right on every issue, then you weren't listening the last 4 years in your classes. Always remember, from the rich and diverse array of classes that you took from us, and especially those statistics classes that we made you take, that politics, economics, society are nuanced and complicated. Every argument has its weaknesses, its counter-evidence. Find points of agreement across party lines in this murkiness, in these complications, and in this nuance. Just to give one example, the solutions that humanity has found to the problems I mentioned earlier, to poverty, infant mortality, low educational attainment, those solutions didn't come about because stakeholders already knew the answers before they got started. They came about because of open minds. Openness to evidence, openness to following the facts, to expertise, to analyzing the data, and to nuanced conclusions that don't fit oversimplified ideological boxes. I can tell you that we scholars now know, in at least very broad terms, how to mitigate global poverty. It is not through strictly market-based solutions, but nor is it strictly through state-based solutions either. We've mitigated global poverty using a combination and a mix of these approaches, a mix of markets here with state intervention there. Similarly, infant mortality rates have fallen through a combination of globalization, global innovation and ideas, plus reliance on local, on-the-ground knowledge and resources. So the solutions to our political divide lie in the nuance, lie in the mixtures. Be open to these in your personal ties and conversations. Finally, my fourth piece of advice is a bit more traditional for commencement ceremonies. And that advice is to remain active and keep doing the things this world needs to heal itself. One interpretation of my words thus far would be that I'm encouraging you to be complacent, that I'm telling you to just be grateful and settle for what you have, and settle for what we as humans have accomplished. But that interpretation would be highly misguided. Graduates, there is still tons of work to do to fix this world. And I know you and your generation are up to that task because I've seen you in action. Again, observers who throw around the label Generation C think that you all will be permanently imprinted with trauma, just like the generation that came of age in the Great Depression almost a century ago. But graduates, I ain't buying it. I've already seen greatness in our young people, in your generation. What happened when we all witnessed the murder of George Floyd? Millions took to the streets in protest against racism, and they were disproportionately young people. The face of climate change activism today is an 18-year-old Greta Thunberg, and closer to home, there are dozens and dozens of environmental groups on campus, all energized and led by students. And as for COVID on campus, what did you all do over the past 2 years? You kept clawing your way toward your degrees, and here you sit. You sat in Zoom rooms, sometimes for 8 hours a day. And yeah, sometimes we professors were really bad at that. But you put up with it, and you finished those classes. You took tests and exams and other new forms. And when you could, 96% of you got vaccinated. So you kept on fighting. So I reject the label Generation C, Generation COVID. You all, to me, are Generation R, the resilient generation. I doubt that'll catch on, but I want copyright if it does. Graduates, have gratitude, take care of yourselves, search for common ground, and fix this world. Thank you for listening. Here's what we're going to do. You already met Professor Jana Donovan, my colleague, who is our Associate Chair and Director of Undergraduate Studies. She's going to read your names. You all are going to line up and come up this ramp. She's going to read your name, and you'll walk in front of her and come over here to me, to the table where I will hand you your diploma. Now, it's COVID days, so handing a diploma is tricky, but here's how this is going to work. First of all, there's fewer than 20 of you. So if parents want, you're more than welcome to come up, take photos as your graduate gets their diploma. I'm more than happy to shake your hands, or if you prefer fist bump or elbow bump, there's hand sanitizer at the end of the table there. But as we do that, again, parents do come up and take photos. That said, after the ceremony, there is a patio just out here that you saw on the other side of the waiting area here. And myself and my colleagues will be out there, masks off, if you want to get more photos with us. Okay? Is there anything else I missed? All right, so let me introduce Professor Jana Donovan. And if you all would kind of walk up this aisle and then curl around and line up on the stairs here and bring your note cards.
One thing, two things actually, before we get started. So first of all, in keeping with the advice that Andy gave, I just want to say how grateful I am to be doing this in person, because I have read for 3 semesters names over Zoom or in online recordings, and I'm so excited to hopefully say your names properly in person. And then secondly, if anybody doesn't want to, so walking in front is better for pictures. If for some reason you don't want to do those stairs though, feel free to go behind me. So, all right, with no more ado, let's start with our graduates. Isabella Schultze. Brooklyn Martin. Nate Furman. Pictures take a while, so. Citlali Vasquez Gomez. Megan Weeks.
Hand sanitizer.
Alessandra Wilson. went home. Catherine K. And last but not least, Rachel Baddock. Congratulations once again to our graduates, and thank you to all of our families and friends for joining us. Just being in a room with other people is amazing. I'm so proud of all of you. Very excited. I'm going to turn it back over to our esteemed chair, Andy Baker.
Look out. All right. 2 announcements, and then we're done. First of all, I want to express my deepest thanks to our awesome, the best in the college department staff who organized this event. They are, first of all, our student aides, Alina Lopo and Andrew Nonamacher, who are sitting back there. And then our core staff, the 3 sitting by the camera right there, Jana Jones, Audrey Combs, and Oliver Bruce. Second announcement is, friends, I present to you the class of 2021. You are dismissed, and we'll see you outside if you want.